speaking of gaming and next gen, you also worked on the new Forza 5 commercial. Can you talk a little about the inspiration for bringing that together?
The Forza Motorsport 5 commercial was a definite challenge. It was basically taking a zoetrope, the original kind of thing that movies came from, and created it so that we did it outside of the car, basically turned it inside out and made it next to the track. And it was a fascinating process because it was essentially math where we had to hit certain speeds, and as long as we were driving by 30 of the frames per second, we could then sync it with the camera and play it that way, and it would work. But it didn't work if you weren't at the right speed. So we had a McLaren and Tanner Faust together and driving absolutely flat out, and it worked.
When it comes to that game, can you talk a little about just the realism and the photorealism, especially when you put that up next to a live action camera? It's getting pretty close.
Yeah, I think when you kind of marvel at the level that game footage is, these days you marvel at the level that game footage is actually presented. I mean, the resolution is absolutely incredible. And I saw that, and then the thought that for Forza, we were going to drive past them at 120 miles an hour. We had to up our game to be able to capture it with the incredible look and detail that each game frame had. And so it was kind of like it added pressure to us because the game footage was so good. We just had to make our footage be equally as good.
Can you give us a sense of just the behind-the-scenes sense of what kind of vehicles and setup do you guys do to create a commercial like that?
In the case of even GT Academy, I use remote-controlled helicopters or drones, fly over scenes that we need to get to. I use real full-size helicopters to actually film the race itself on the finals because you can't miss anything of it. And then the other thing that we use that's pretty cool to the show is we use a high-speed camera car that we mix up into the races, and that's a GTR. And then we use a Nissan GTR with cameras on the front and back, operated remotely, and we go out and basically hammer out with the kids, with the competitors out there, and try to mix it up with them, filming it while we go. And then the last thing that we use is an armed camera car that's based on an ML that has a big arm on it, and we're able to boom and dolly and actually go pretty high speed on the racetrack too. So since our world is so moving, everything's in action, I need platforms that also are in action. Things like helicopters, things like high-speed camera cars. We're in the GoPro era. We load these cars up with GoPros, so all our GoPros are immersed in the middle of it. So there's as many as 25 cameras running on one scene.